Ronald Picciarelli, and I'm doing my interview with Ivory Bunting, who is an entrepreneur here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I'm going to move the camera over a little bit. So we have Mr. Bunting here, and I'll just make this a little bit bigger.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get going. Okay. How did you get your start in being an entrepreneur?
Okay, the way we started it off was I worked as a cab driver for another business that was in the local town that we live in now, and I just worked really hard, and it seemed like I kind of was like in quicksand. I mean, I was just not getting anywhere. So I actually talked to my wife, and we slowly started acquiring equipment that we needed to open up our own cab company, and just worked really hard and got it piece by piece, and decided to go for it and opened it up, and 12 years later, here we are.
Wow. Now, obviously, had you had any prior business experience before suddenly saying, you know what, I can do this and open my own company?
No, I mean, I've always kind of wanted to do my own thing. I've always kind of been self-motivated. So, as far as experience for that, no, but I have a lot of friends that have opened up their own, construction companies, and,
Yep.
Have done a lot of things for themselves. And so I've been always kind of involved in that. And, my mom always told me anything you put your mind to, you can become successful. So just go for it. And that's what we did. And here we are 12 years later.
Wow. Did you have to have any kind of education or take a class in something like bookkeeping or something like that?
So as far as education,
Yeah.
I got I did Concord Career Institute and got a certificate doing that. But as far as education, the line of work that I'm in now, no education, just pretty much self-taught, and
Okay.
and a lot of hard lessons learned.
Oh, okay. So you could say that hard work is essential for being an entrepreneur.
Oh, definitely. It's like today we're doing our interview, and look what time it is. We've been at work all day this morning, and all day this afternoon. So I feel like if you want to be successful, you got to just put the work in. It's not going to be handed to you.
Okay. Now, did you ever do any kind of analysis of the Cheyenne area and see a need for what you call the T&I shuttle?
Yeah, the TI.
TI.
So definitely, and I worked for a company called Capital City when I first got here.
Okay.
And they were a cab company, and I worked for them, and the business was kind of failing. So, like I said, just being self-motivated kind of got them structured and got on my, got the company going on their feet, got a lot of their back bills paid. My wife helped me out along the way. As we went along to doing that, I was on a salary, and my work started to get a lot easier, through the journey of me becoming, making this business a lot more successful. And the owner of the company wanted, more, and I felt like she was kind of taking advantage of me. So one of our competition in this little town that we lived in said, "Hey, come over here to help us out, and help them out." And it's another cat company, and they become the number one cat company in the state of Wyoming. And so I told my wife one day, I was like, we keep helping everybody out, and I feel like people take advantage of us, and no one really seems like they care. So what I did is I just got out of the cat company business for a while. There's a little restaurant here called Sherry's. So I just become.
Oh, no Sherry's.
Yeah, so I became the one that was on Del Range here in Wyoming. I become a server there for a long time. We just served, and every dollar we got, we just kept putting away. And needless to say, we didn't really have very much money, so we had some business cards made up at Kinko's. We had a young man by the name of Sade that helped us, and we didn't have very much cash, and so my wife and I said, we're just waiting and waiting. Let's just go for it. So we opened it up with, I think we only had like $25. We acquired 2 Crown Vics, and we went for it. And we didn't know how we were going to pay our bills, and we become the largest cat company in the state of Wyoming. At that time, and like every good thing, it's transitioning over. I mean, it's transitioning out. The cab company is slowly being phased out by other cab companies like Uber and Lyft and a lot of this ride-share programs.
Yeah. Now, so you see Uber and Lyft as like competition.
Well, to a point. I mean, the ride-share, a lot of the new, I don't like to use the word millennials. A lot of them they take kind of take offense to it. So I like to use like the younger generation. They rather pay more money for convenience, and you know, to them it's a lot cooler for that experience. So you know, it's something that we seen in the future. You know, 4 or 5 years ago. So we just started migrating out again with our other businesses, and they're doing really good. You know, we own 2 other businesses that are slowly becoming our primary income compared to what the cab company is doing.
Okay. What can you say about the business kind of environment in Cheyenne, or the climate in Cheyenne? Is it friendly to entrepreneurs?
Oh yeah, definitely. Wyoming is one of the most friendly entrepreneur states, you know, to me in the world or even in the country. I mean, well, trends. But let's kind of go back. I would say, you know, again, early in 2000, 10, 2015, it was a lot easier to start a business. Now it's getting a lot harder. I mean, it's going more mainstream, a lot more corporate. The government and the city, the county's a lot more involved with permits and different things. So it's definitely a lot harder to open up a business now compared to how it was 5 years ago.
Wow, I had no idea that it would be harder to open a business now in 2020 than it would have been 5 years ago.
Oh, for mom and pops, definitely. Mom and pops are being phased out every day.
Okay. Now, did anyone ever tell you that you couldn't open up your own business? That it's crazy to try and do that sort of thing.
Oh, you mean as far as like the public or just critics?
Maybe critics, maybe family members, friends, or something say, "Oh, you can't do that. It's just impossible."
Well, when we started it, I mean, everybody kind of laughed and chuckled like it was a joke. We started off with the $7 anywhere in Cheyenne for $5. I mean, it spread like rapid. I mean, it spread like a wildfire. I mean, like I say, I mean, there would be. I think in this town we had 58,000 people at the time, and I would say on a Friday night we were running about 9 to 10 cabs on a Friday night. There's no lie, 9 to 10 cabs on a Friday night, and during the day we would run about 7 or 8. Now compared to 5 years ago compared to now, it's definitely changed. It's definitely not now. During the day, we're running. Approximately before the COVID-19 hit, we were running right around I'd say about 6 in the morning, midday, and then we would stay open until 10. We quit running 24 hours a day.
Okay.
Because of rideshare programs. Now, after the lockdown and all that, now we're even down to just being closed at 6 o'clock, and we're down to roughly right around 5 to 6 cabs during the day.
Wow, that's a downward trend, obviously.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely. I mean, and it is like that in business. That's how business is. I mean, right now we got Amazon in it, and it's a giant. But before we had Walmart, and Walmart was swaying every other business. Yeah. Now Walmart's struggling because of Amazon. Everybody has to keep up with the new trend. So as being a business owner, if you're able to keep up with the new trends that are going, and you're willing to put the work in, your business will be successful. But if you're not willing to go with the social media and all that, your business is going to just lag behind it, which should be phased out.
Okay.
So that's my personal opinion.
Oh yeah, that sure makes a lot of sense. When you first got started, how you mentioned you started with $25 and 2 Crown Vics. How were you able to raise capital?
The way that worked is it took us about 2.5 years to raise the money for just those 2 cars.
Okay.
Went to a place in Denver called Andy's Carland and got one of those.
I know that place.
Do you really?
Well, I haven't bought a car there, but I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And I've had friends who bought there. In fact, one of my relatives, I think, purchased a car through them once, and seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah, so we got one through them, and and then we had a few small friends in the community. So I mean, where we're at, by any means, we could make a book of this, but it took a lot of friends and family members and people in the community to help us become successful. First off, I'm not trying to turn into a religion thing, but I'm a man of faith, and God has helped us get where we're at. So
Good.
Yeah, and throughout our community, a lot of older gentlemen. I had two local deputies that they were retired deputies, and they would get us Crown Vics, and they would let us finance them. I mean, it was it was a real big thing. It's hard to get a business loan.
Oh yeah.
For a smaller business. So a lot of our financing, as far as capital, came through a lot of private financing. That was how we got a lot of that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It was a company called it was called Action Auto. They were.
I remember Action Auto.
Yeah. There's a gentleman by the name of Skip and Aaron that would help us out.
Okay.
So.
Now, when you're an entrepreneur, do you see diversifying your businesses? Obviously, you have done that, and you have explained a little bit. Is this a must for an entrepreneur?
What do you mean by a must?
Should an entrepreneur have a group of businesses that are diversified?
As far as corporate America, we can give our opinion, but as far as mom and pops, yes, definitely. In order to be successful, to me, you're gonna have to have multiple businesses. One business is you're just not gonna cut. It's just not gonna cut it.
Okay.
Right now, currently, we operate 3 businesses, and that's, you have one that's phasing out. That one's phasing out.
Yeah.
We have 2 that are primary, and we have another phase of that company. Another phase where our company's going to be coming in to compensate for the income you're losing as far as from the TI shuttle.
Okay. Now, do you see, or are your other businesses actually kind of spin-offs from TI shuttle? It's something that you may have used or thought of as you had the TI shuttle, because you own an auto detailing center.
Yes, sir.
And would you consider that kind of a spin-off?
No. Actually, the way we operate it, yeah. The way we operate, I call it branding. When you come out into a business, to me, when you open up a business, one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to come into a business. Say you open up a detail shop, you don't want to start doing headlights. You don't want to start doing motors. And you're cleaning the inside of the cars, and you also want to start doing windshields. You got to master one first, and once you master that one, then you can start adding more and more to your business. The problem that people have is they try to do too much right off the bat. I'm getting off subject a little bit.
No. This is great. This is all great. You're doing fantastic.
They try to do too much, and they want to make themselves look bad. So, for example, the TI shuttle, I love it, but now, in our community, there's so much liability. That makes sense.
Yes.
So while I'm sleeping at night, if we have a driver that drives to somebody's house, you have to face lawsuits and increased insurance, and then you're constantly stressed. When it's snowing outside, you don't know, if this car's in the ditch or what car got wrecked. So for me, staying with the trend, can we open up an app? Yes, we can open up an app. We can compete a little bit. People like to support small business, but for me, the liability is just not worth. It's just not worth it. It's time to let that just phase out for me, for our family.
Okay.
So as far as trends or whatever, what we're trying to do now is be more reliant on ourselves for our income, than relying on 10, 15 other people that that don't care as much as yourself.
Okay. How would you? Well, you've kind of answered this already. Like you're kind of phasing out the TI shuttles for your other businesses. Correct. So is that the way that you're kind of handling a business? That's in decline, or how should an entrepreneur handle a business that is actually losing money?
Okay. For me, what I think is when we heard of rideshare here in our community, we kept on. For 7 years you heard this giant knocking at the door. And, then you got 6 years. So what we did with us is we opened up our other businesses and started to get those rolling. any business you open is going to take time. It's never just going to come, unless you open up like a franchise, like another McDonald's or a Culver's. People are going to want to kind of come there, get the new experience, if they never experienced that. But when you open up like a service, like a transportation business or, like a service like that, that takes time. You have to get to be known in the community. People have to start building trust. Word of mouth goes a long ways.
Yeah.
So as far as that, like I said, we saw this giant coming. We could have stayed up with the trend and said, hey, let's start working on doing a ride app share. Let's start working on taking cards more. We chose, or let's try to sell the business, because it was a retirement.
Yeah.
But that storm came on so quick and depreciated the value of your business. We lost a lot of money. We could sit back and we can cry about it, but we lost about $500,000 of equity in your business.
Yeah.
Is it fair? I don't think that it is. We pay workman's comp, we pay unemployment. Right? Uber and Lyft don't pay those things. We had to pay for cab licenses. We had to pay for extra insurance. But anyways, that's you can sit back and you can cry about all the unfair things in life, or you can simply just move on. And we just chose just to move on.
Yeah.
And to me,
well, that's great, because I've known many in my life that people have worked for corporate America. Things were unfair. They no longer work for corporate America. Yet 20, 30 years later, they're still crying about it.
Yeah, no, there's for me, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you want to be self-employed, I've helped a lot of friends that are business owners now that have kind of come down, that we've helped out. I've kind of mentored. People have mentored me to help me get where I'm at. To me, if you worry about things you have no control over in the politics, it's exhausting. Number one, it's very expensive. It's not even worth your time. If you focus that much time in opening up something new or trending out and doing something different, you're going to be more successful than sitting at home or crying with your friends how things aren't going to work. And that's to me the number one goal on how to be successful running a small business.
Okay.
To me.
Oh, that makes sense. Makes sense. Now let's talk about kind of management. How much management for a small business is enough? Do you have to have like various levels of management? You can't be there all the time to manage your employees. So what do you do?
That's hard.
Okay.
For us, and as far as the cab world.
Yeah.
Because for us, federally, these cab drivers are considered to be subcontractors.
Okay.
Get complicated, but state-wise, they're considered to be employees. So, the way you run that is, and you heard before when I was telling you about opening up your own cab companies. How I started. So I looked at, I just kept a sneak peek on how everything worked. I didn't go in and want to backdoor anybody. I didn't really want to run my own cab company. It's a headache. So I sit back, I want to be the manager, but when I become successful, and I was making really good money, sitting back just managing, the owner wanted me to go out, and wanted me to do more. And it's like, well, I've put my work in, you're making good money, and they gotten greedy. And so I did that for one cab company. I guess I did it for another one. Well, it created an untrust for me to go out and teach somebody the same trade in fear that they would kind of backdoor me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And not because I wouldn't treat them right, because I've always vowed to treat anybody that worked for me right. Am I confusing you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So as far as management, we've always managed it ourselves, and it's been overwhelming. And that's why the reason why we kind of want out of it. Trust is hard now because in society, it's hard to rely on people and trust them. They don't look at the big picture of running a business. All they ever see is, money coming in. They never see money coming out. Yep. They go in, we do it with our detail company. They work for a place and they mess the market up. They say, I could do this on my own. They open up a cab company. We see it all the time. It's happened. There's been numerous cab companies here. They open up, try to do it cheaper. The market fluctuates a little bit. It kind of hurts the market a little bit, and then you kind of just bounce back. Well, that wave of a little small cap company opening, and then they're out of business, and then you got the next one coming opening and out of business, and the next one. For me, we don't have time. And so even as far as trends and small businesses, whether that's small parts stores or pizza joints or like burger shops, if you're willing to put the work in, you'll be successful. And as far as hiring help, you know, in trade business like construction work, you know, transportation, those things you have to. They're hard. They're hard to trust people and teach people your trade and teach them the ropes because they usually backdoor you.
Wow.
In business, a lot of people that open up businesses have usually backdoored the very person that's taught them how to become successful.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Here in our city, I've seen some businesses that open up and they are around for maybe a year, maybe even two, and then they're gone. What do you think is wrong with them? Is it that they haven't done any kind of market analysis? They were troubled from the start.
I'll tell you, this is a prime example. You're at my place of business here doing an interview.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm not at the lake. I'm not in the mountains. I'm at work. The problem that us as Americans have, like I said, this is just my opinion, is that everybody wants to open up a business and they want to put it on cruise control and want it to make the money while they go sit back and enjoy life. Well, that might work for the first 6 months, but when you're not there caring about your business, then it's just going to fall apart. And that's, to me, why small business is never successful. I call it cruise control business, and there's no cruise control business. It's just not.
Interesting.
I mean, think about it. If the owner's always there,
Yeah.
putting the work in, it's going to become successful. I mean, if not, you know, I mean, and you do need vacations, but you can't cruise control your business, you know, 50% of the time. You have to be there. Your people that work for, they won't respect you. You know, they won't.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean,
It's very true.
I mean, it's none of their business what you're doing into your life, but you don't want to become a truck boss to where you're just always gone and you're having a good time and they're just killing themselves, and then you come there and you know it's your business will just they won't care when you're not there. They're not going to care.
That is really great to know that when you're not there, they're not going to care.
I call it cruise control. You can't run a business off cruise control. You just cannot do it.
Okay. Do you think that an entrepreneur has to have like a vision for the business? They have to envision it being successful, or they have to have like almost like an end goal in mind that they can envision?
No, yeah. I mean, you definitely have to have that vision. I mean, I look at it business like this, and I guess I have weird analogies, but I look at this business as like there's this wall that's here, and you want to get through this wall, and it has all the different you know protections. You got to just keep finding a way to get to that wall, and once you find a way through that wall and you're in there, you're fine. But you're gonna run into another wall, and you got to find your way. There's gonna be wall after wall after wall. It's that wall's never. It's kind of like what we're going through now with this COVID-19. Walmart has realized that they're making more money by closing down. So
How could they make?
how can they make more money? You got lights that are shut off. You got employees that aren't there. They're getting their stocking done a lot faster. I mean, a lot of companies with trends and over time. And don't quote me. I don't know that as a fact.
Okay.
Those are just different articles I've read.
That's interesting.
So-
Interesting that you're keeping up on this, because
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of money you spend. You know, you waste a lot of money on doing things, thinking you're making more money, but really in the long run you're not. So I feel like in order to be successful, I feel like you got to you're constantly just conquering one wall from the next. And if you're cruise controlling it, you're never going to see the trends. You're not going to listen to your guys saying, "Hey, this is not working," because you're spending your whole time at the lake, or you're in Cancun or whatever. So and what's happening is you got the next business owner that's hungry. He's at work every day. I mean, we don't have a 5-star review a 4.8-star review because we're at home, you know, camping. I mean, we're here every day and we put the work in. And so that's that's our other business. The cab company doesn't have that kind of review.
Okay.
So
Okay. So what kind of walls did you see when you are working in your business? You mentioned that you have to get through various walls, and you get through one wall, then there's another wall. What are the walls?
Give me some examples. Okay, when we opened the TI shuttle, like I said, business was easy then. We opened the cab company. We didn't have to pay workman's comp. We didn't have to pay unemployment. We didn't have to pay none of that. They considered me subcontractors. Once you started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, people start looking at you. And so we got a letter one time saying, hey, you guys, you guys are employees, you know, and went through this little spiel on you give them direction, this and that. It was just better to pay. It was better to pay the workmen. I mean, to pay the unemployment. We lost I would say about 12% of our income with that. That's one wall you had to conquer.
Yeah.
You know, and then we had a couple of accidents, and then we had workman's comp fighting with the insurance company. So what we had to realize is that if they were working and they got to an accident, the insurance company wasn't going to cover the driver. Unemployment, workman's comp had to cover the driver. It's another wall that you kind of had to go through, you know. You know, and then, you know, you do it with other cab companies, you're doing good. You know, they're saying that federally you're not paying federal taxes, and you're not doing this, you're not doing that. It's just one thing after another. Then, you know, then you need to get cab licenses. You know, we needed a cab license before, and they went to the city, did a couple of fingerprints. Now you got to run through NCIC, which is like a federal background check. These cab licenses were taking 30 to 45 days to get back. It was like $65, $75 to get a cab license.
Wow.
You know, and then we would move. Then you had to be zone light industrial, you know. And then we would look at other cab companies, how come they're not going through that? You know, it's just one thing after another.
Interesting.
And so that's what I meant. Like, you know, then we had like the doors on the cabs. They were old Crown Vics. They weren't, you can open them up, and the customers, like, I like the drivers to get out and open the doors for the customer. Number one, it helped out with blood clots, and it just kept the driver moving, mobile. Well, the city didn't like that. Then we had to do vehicle inspections, you know, and it just was just one thing after another, you know, and that's what I mean by trends. And I mean, like, you got to get through these different walls. After a while, you just get tired, and you just say, hey, you know, then we got to start doing credit cards, because, you know, we weren't taking credit cards at first, you know. And so that's what I mean by these different walls.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it sure makes a lot of sense.
Even as far as the detail company, you got to watch the chemicals that you use. The bigger you go, you know, one time we were not here, but we were collecting rainwater, and it's against the law for a business to collect rainwater because of the EPA. Oh yeah, I'm being serious. There's just a lot of little small things as you grow that people complain about. You know, what kind of chemicals are you using? What's going into the earth? You know, the bigger you get, you know, the more obstacles that you run into. You know, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Just a couple last things. I know that, you know, you probably want to get home and be with your family.
Oh, yeah.
But what kind of advice would you give for somebody who might consider starting their own business?
The best advice I can give them is don't ever give up.
Okay.
You know, that's one of the biggest things I'm going to tell somebody. Second of all, whatever dream that you have, research it. You research, and then research again, and then research. And then take it to family and friends and let them criticize you. And when they criticize you and people laugh and they mock you and say you can't do it, you use that as the motivation. When you feel like you can't do it anymore, you let that motivate you to keep pushing forward. That should be your motivation. People say, oh, you're crazy. That's not going to work. You take all that people are telling you and you use that as fuel to fire through. So when you're tired and you can't make it, just keep pushing through, and you'll become successful.
Have you ever read any like business books or inspirational business type books that you could recommend to a person that wants to get drive and inspiration?
The only book I've ever read that really kind of fired me up is the Holy Bible, and that's no joke. I mean, my mom's been a kind of inspiration, just different role models. I never really read any books. I read a lot of like little articles, or but as far as like reading books on how to become successful, I never have. I just looked at what other people were doing, and then I kind of go out and research it. I don't just, what I mean by research it, anything I've ever done is because I've been, as far as a detail company, I've done it before. And so I just took it and just learned all the mistakes and mastered it. But we are going to eventually expand when our cab company shuts down on uncharted territory. I don't even know how to do that, but we're going to research it. And we're going to start doing windshields with our other business. But I can't,
that'd be great.
I guess I can't do that now until I cut the cab company down, because that's going to take more of my time. Mm-hmm. So no, the best advice I can give somebody is just use any fuel that people say when people say you cannot do it or they laugh at you. Use that as fuel and learn how to do it.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That is really great. Yeah. Did you? Let me just close off here, and I'm kind of Ron Picciarelli signing off here with my interview with Ivory and the TI Shuttle. I will see you next time.